welcome. If you are watching and listening now, it means you have chosen to give yourself a pause, a moment entirely your own, away from the noise of the day. This is Opulent Dreams, a place where time slows down, where stories flow gently, and where sleep arrives without being called. Tonight, I have the privilege of guiding you slowly towards rest. There is nothing you need to do. Simply listen and let go. If you wish, you can support this journey with a small gesture by following the channel, liking this video, and leaving a comment telling us where you are watching from tonight. A quiet way of being present together, even from afar. For now, though, this time is yours. Lower the lights. Settle into a comfortable position. Allow your body to find its own balance. Soften your breathing. There is no need to control it. Just allow it to slow down. The world can wait. Your worries can remain outside this night. I wish you a deep, elegant, natural rest. Let yourself be gently carried. And when you are ready, let the dream begin. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Imagine you are very high up, higher than the noise, higher than the rush. You are in Tokyo. Outside, the city glows. Thousands of neon lights reflect on the wet asphalt. Red, blue, white, gold. The colours blend with the rainwater and form something that looks like a dream. The rain arrived tonight without warning. First came a few drops, shy, soft, then more, and now it falls in a continuous, steady stream. A sound that fills everything, a sound that calms everything. You are on the top floor of a very tall building, a penthouse in the heart of Tokyo. The windows are enormous, from floor to ceiling, all glass. You can see the entire city from here. The elevated highways with their moving lights, the illuminated skyscrapers, the giant screens flickering in the distance, and below, the narrow streets of the old neighborhoods, with their paper lanterns and their dark rooftops. Everything moves out there. Everything vibrates. Tokyo never stops. Tokyo never rests. But in here, time moves more slowly. In here, there is silence, a warm silence, a silence that holds you. The penthouse is large, very large. The floor is dark, polished wood. It softly reflects the light of the lamps. The lamps are few and dim. They don't illuminate too much, just enough. There are flowers on a low table, white flowers, small ones, arranged carefully in a black ceramic bowl. Beside them, a dry and elegant branch, as if someone had thought long about that detail. The furniture is simple in line, light wood, soft fabrics. Nothing is out of place. Every object has its place. Everything breathes. In a corner, there is a low bookshelf with books. Their spines are discreet, blues, greys, whites, and on top of the shelf, a small stone bowl with water and a floating flower. Candles are lit at various points around the room. Their light trembles a little, softly, as if they were breathing. The glass of the windows is cold on the outside, but from within, you can see the steam rising from the city, the warmth of millions of people, the warmth of a city that never sleeps. And the rain keeps falling. It strikes the glass with a delicate sound. Tap, tap, tap. Unhurried, unceasing. There is something hypnotic in that sound. Something that invites you to close your eyes. Something that says, you are safe. You are safe up here. Tokyo glows out there like a sea of fallen stars. A sea that moves, that breathes, that pulses. But you are inside. You are protected. You are warm. Soon the friends will arrive. Soon there will be soft voices and quiet laughter. Soon there will be food and whisky and conversations that flow slowly. But for now, there is only you and the rain, you and the lights, you and Tokyo. Breathe. Release the air gently. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw relax. You are very high up, and up here, everything is well. The elevator makes a soft sound, a sound almost imperceptible, and the doors open. They enter slowly, without noise, as if they know this place asks for calm. They are several friends, a small group, the kind of group that has known each other for many years. That doesn't need to talk much to understand one another. They remove their shoes at the entrance, naturally, carefully. They place them in a row, neatly ordered. One of them carries a wet umbrella. He leaves it in the stand by the door. The drop slides slowly down the black fabric. They greet each other with a gentle bow, a quiet smile. Eyes that crinkle a little at the corners, the kind of smile that comes from within. There are no noisy embraces, no exclamations, only presence, only calm. One of them approaches the windows. He stands there for a moment in silence, looking at the city, the rain falling on the skyscrapers, the lights multiplying in the wet glass. He smiles faintly, nods, slowly, as if the city were telling him something, and he understood. The others move through the room softly, as if floating, their socks on the polished wood, their voices very low, almost whispers. Someone lights more candles. With a small silver lighter, the flame appears, trembles, steadies. The room fills with a warmer light, more intimate, as if the space became smaller, closer, safer. There is a discreet sound system in the room. Someone activates it softly, and from the speakers comes a very quiet music, almost inaudible, just a backdrop, like the hum of something distant and gentle. A string instrument, loose notes, spaced apart, no urgent melody, just sound that breathes. The music mixes with the rain, and together they form something perfect, something that cannot be described in words, only felt. In the kitchen, at the back, there is movement, soft, organized. Someone is preparing dinner. A very faint sound of something over the fire can be heard. An aroma begins to move through the air. It is a delicate aroma, deep, like something that has been cooking slowly for hours. A broth, a dashi, the smell of the sea and the earth together. One of the friends closes his eyes for a moment, just to feel that aroma, just to be completely here. The others sit down, on large cushions on the floor, around a low table of dark wood, a table lacquered with much time and much care. The cushions are of thick fabric, dark grey, moss green, deep beige, soft to the touch. They sink a little when you sit, as if they were embracing you from below. Someone brings a tray. On the tray, small glasses and a bottle. The bottle is of smoky glass, with a simple label of matte paper. Letters in Japanese, written by hand. The Japanese whisky. A very pale amber colour, like autumn light inside a glass. They pour it slowly, unhurried, at the sound of the liquid falling. A clean sound, precise. Someone raises his glass. He holds it with both hands. He looks at the whisky for a moment, then looks at his friends. One word, very soft, almost a murmur, and everyone drinks, a small sip. The silence after is comfortable. It is the silence of people who don't need to fill the space, who know how to be together without speaking, who know that the company itself is enough. Outside, the rain continues, more intense now. The drops strike the glass with more resolve. But in here, no one notices too much. Or perhaps they do notice, and that is why they are so calm, because they know they are protected, because the storm is out there, and they are in here. Someone says something in a low voice. The others smile. One of them tilts his head slightly, in agreement. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter the language. What matters is the tone. Soft, settled, sincere, like a conversation that is in no hurry to arrive anywhere, that only exists to be. The city keeps glowing on the other side of the glass. Millions of people moving out there. Millions of stories. Millions of hurries. But here, in this floor so high above Tokyo, a group of friends sits together, drinks slowly, breathes slowly, and time for this night ceases to matter. The glass is small, cold at first, then it warms with the heat of the hands. Japanese whisky is not drunk in haste. It is not that kind of drink. It is a drink that asks for attention, that asks for presence. Someone observes it for a moment before drinking. The candlelight passes through the liquid. It turns it into something golden, into something almost sacred. The first sip is gentle, very gentle. It arrives slowly at the throat and leaves a warm trail, a trail that extends toward the chest, toward the shoulders, toward the arms, like a blanket put on from within. There are notes of wood, of very faint vanilla, of something smoky that doesn't quite become smoke, just a memory of smoke, an echo. And at the end, a discreet sweetness, like honey diluted in spring water, something that is barely there, but that is felt. The friends drink in silence for a moment, each one with his glass, each one with his thoughts, but all together. That is the mystery of good silences, that they are shared, that they don't separate, that they unite. One of them looks toward the window. The rain has formed small rivers on the glass. The water descends in irregular lines. It forks, it joins, it disappears at the edge. The city lights behind the wet glass become smudges of colour, diffuse, soft, like a painting someone made with their fingers, red that spills, blue that expands, white that vibrates. It is very beautiful, without effort, without intention, just beautiful because it is. Someone pours the whisky again, with the same calm as before, the same sound of the liquid falling, precise, clean. This time, one of the friends adds a few drops of water, just a few. With a small stone vessel, the water falls in the center of the glass, and the whisky opens, like a flower waking up. The aromas are released. They become more complex, deeper. It is a small tradition, a silent ritual, a way of saying, I am taking my time. I am taking this moment seriously. The music keeps playing in the background. It can barely be heard. It is like the murmur of something distant, a river, a forest, a quiet place. The notes of the string instrument rise and fall without urgency, without drama, just existing. One of the friends closes his eyes. He is not asleep. He is just listening, listening to the music, listening to the rain, listening to the silence between the two. There is something in that space between the sounds, something that has no name, but that is recognized when it is found. It is peace. That is it. Simply peace. The bodies are relaxed, backs supported, hands loose, breaths slow. No one looks at any screen. No one checks anything. The outside world can wait. Tonight, the outside world does not exist. Only this room exists. These candles, this rain, this whisky, these friends. Someone says something very softly, and the one beside him smiles, a slow smile. That arrives with calm. There is no laughter tonight, no raised voices, only those soft smiles, those short words, those small gestures that say everything. A hand that rests briefly on the other's arm, a look that lasts a second longer than necessary, a nod that means, I understand you, I am here, I know. The whisky keeps warming from within. It does not intoxicate, it does not dull, it only relaxes, it only loosens the knots the day had tightened. The shoulders drop a little more, the jaw releases, the brow smooths. Outside, Tokyo keeps moving. The trains, the cars, the people, the unstoppable rhythm of one of the largest cities in the world. But up here, on this floor suspended between the clouds and the lights, time beats differently. More slowly, much more slowly, like the heart when it is calm, like breathing when there is no fear, like thought when there is no hurry. The whisky in the glass, the rain on the glass, the friends in silence, everything in its place, everything as it should be. Breathe, release the air. Let the eyelids become a little heavier. It is not yet time to sleep. The dinner is still to come. The flavours are still to come. But you are calmer now than before. You are already closer. Closer to sleep. Closer to that soft place where everything disappears. The whisky knows it. The rain knows it. Tokyo, down below, knows it too. A new sound arrives from the kitchen. Soft, rhythmic. The sound of something being placed carefully on a surface. Again and again. Someone is setting the table. With attention. With calm. As if every detail mattered. Because it does. The tablecloth is of natural linen. Cream colour. Very soft. Slightly irregular at the edges. Like something made by hand. Because it is. On the tablecloth, the bowls of artisan ceramic, each one different from the other, one more round, another taller, one with an irregular rim, another perfectly smooth. Their colours are the colours of the earth. No two are alike, and that makes them perfect together. The chopsticks are placed on small stone rests, parallel, ordered, like lines of a short poem. There are fabric napkins folded with precision, not in elaborate shapes, just folded, with care, with respect. A low candle at the centre of the table, its flame very still tonight, as if it too wished not to disturb, and 2 or 3 very small white flowers, placed beside the candle, without a vase, just resting, as if they had fallen there by chance. The friends approach the table. Slowly, they sit again on the cushions. They settle. Someone crosses their legs naturally, another rests their hands on their thighs. Everyone looks at the table for a moment, in silence, as if before beginning they wish to give thanks for something, without words, only with that second of stillness. And then it begins. The first to arrive is the dashi, a transparent broth, almost invisible, served in small bowls of black stoneware. Its colour is that of very light tea, golden and soft, with a reflection of the candles on the surface. The aroma arrives before the flavour. It is the aroma of the sea, of the kombu seaweed that gave everything it had, of the dried bonito that perfumed the water for hours. It is an ancient smell, a smell that has existed in Japan for centuries, a smell that calms something very deep, something that comes before thought. The first sip of the broth is a revelation. It is not salty, it is not sweet, it is umami, that fifth sensation that has no translation, that only exists in the mouth, that can only be understood by feeling it. It is depth, it is roundness, it is something that fills without weighing. The friends hold the bowls with both hands. They bring them to their lips. They drink slowly, eyes slightly closed. Then, the sashimi. On a board of light wood, perfect slices of raw fish, cut with a very sharp knife by a hand that knows what it is doing. The tuna, deep red, like a jewel, bright and firm. The sea bream, pearlescent white, with an almost impossible transparency, as if the light passed through it. The squid, white too, but different, with a texture that exists nowhere else, soft and firm at the same time. Beside them, a small mound of fresh wasabi, grated by hand, a very soft green colour, almost grey, and pickled ginger, pale pink, in very thin slices, like petals. The soy sauce in a small bowl, dark, glossy, just a few drops, only what is needed. One of the friends takes a piece of tuna. He holds it for a moment between the chopsticks. He observes it, then brings it to his mouth. The flavour is clean. It is the sea in its purest form. Without artifice, without disguise, only the flavour of something raised in cold, deep water. Then comes the wagyu, cooked very gently, almost raw at the centre, cut in thin slices like paper. Its colour is the softest red that exists, with white veins of fat running through it, like a map of something invisible. It melts in the mouth. That is the only way to describe it. It melts, like butter, like something that does not wish to resist. The flavour is rich, very rich, but not heavy. There is an elegance in that richness, a lightness, as if the fat were soft rather than dense. Someone closes their eyes while eating it, just a second, just to be completely there. Then the silken tofu, white, perfect, trembling gently in its bowl, as if it were alive. On top, a few drops of very dark soy sauce, some flakes of dried bonito that move with the heat, as if they were dancing, a pinch of very finely cut spring onion, and grated ginger. It is the simplest dish on the table, and perhaps the hardest to forget, because it has that rare quality of simple things, the one that makes you wonder how something so basic can be so good. And the rice, steamed, no salt, no oil, nothing, just rice, just water, just time, but perfect, each grain separate, and together at the same time, with a texture you know from deep within, that recognizes something in you. The table is full, but not crowded. Everything has its space. Everything breathes. Outside, the rain strikes the glass and the lights of Tokyo flicker in the distance. And in here, around this low and precious table, the friends eat slowly, in silence, with gratitude. Eating slowly is an art. Not everyone knows it. Not everyone practices it. But tonight, at this table, no one is in a hurry. The chopsticks move with calm. They pause. They move again. There is no conversation while eating, only presence, only attention. It is a form of respect toward the food, toward whoever prepared it, toward the moment. One of the friends takes a piece of sea bream. He dips it very lightly in the soy, just grazing the surface, just a shadow of salt. He brings it to his mouth. He chews slowly. His eyes look toward nowhere, inward. The flavor of raw fish is fresh. It is clean. It is like breathing sea air on a windless day. There is a hidden sweetness in it, a sweetness that only appears if attention is paid, if one eats slowly, if one is present. Another of the friends holds his bowl of dashi with both hands. He drinks a small sip. The broth is still hot. The warmth descends through the throat. It expands in the chest. It reaches the stomach. And from there, it radiates outward, toward the arms, toward the legs, as if the whole body sighed. That is what a good broth does. It does not only nourish, it also consoles. The wagyu returns to someone's chopsticks, a thin slice, almost translucent against the candlelight. The white fat running through it gleams a little, like very soft marble, like something that belongs in a museum. But it is here, at this table, tonight. The flavour is deep and soft at the same time. That impossible combination that only exists in things that have been treated with great care. From the beginning, someone takes the silken tofu with great care, because it is delicate, because it breaks if it is not treated well. The chopsticks barely hold it. They bring it to the mouth carefully, and the tofu dissolves the moment it touches the tongue. It is soft. It is cool. It is almost flavourless on its own, but with the soy, with the ginger, with the bonito flakes that moved like wings. It becomes something complex, something that has layers. That is discovered little by little. The bonito flakes no longer dance, but their flavour is still there, smoky, soft, marine. The spring onion adds a green note, fresh, like a point of light in something dark. Someone sighs. Not from sadness, not from tiredness, from satisfaction. That kind of sigh that comes on its own. That cannot be helped, that the body produces when it is exactly where it wants to be. The rice waits in its bowl, always patient. Rice is always patient. Someone takes some with the chopsticks. A little. Just a little. It needs nothing more. It is perfect as it is. White, simple, honest. There is something in the texture of Japanese rice. Something that is difficult to explain. A consistency that is soft, but not mushy. That binds, but doesn't stick. That fills without weighing. Like an embrace that doesn't hold too tight. The rain outside keeps falling. Its sound has become familiar now, like the sound of one's own breathing, always there, without intruding. The candles have burned down a little. The wax has melted slowly during dinner. The flames are now smaller, but warmer. The light in the room is dimmer than before, more intimate. The faces of the friends glow softly. Their expressions are calm, without tension, without worry. Each person's day was left behind. The meetings, the emails, the commutes, the noise, the speed, the screen. All of that was left somewhere else. Here there is only food, and silence, and friends. Someone reaches for the wasabi with the tip of a chopstick, just a minimal amount. He mixes it softly with a little soy. The heat of fresh wasabi is not aggressive. It is not the powdered wasabi that stings the nose. This is different. This has a warmth, a green and earthy depth. It rises for a moment. It cleanses the palate. It awakens something. And then it disappears, leaving space for the next flavour. That is what fresh wasabi does. It cleanses. It prepares. It disappears, like a good guest. The pickled ginger also fulfills its function. Between one bite and the next, a thin slice, sweet and sour at the same time. Like a soft reset of the palate, like beginning again. The dinner advances without anyone rushing it. The bowls empty slowly. The wood of the board where the sashimi rested now shows its light and clean grain. Only a few drops of soy remain. A forgotten slice of ginger. A small trace of wasabi. The rice has almost disappeared. The dashi too. But no one gets up. No one is in a hurry. They remain seated around the empty table, with the bowls still in their hands, or resting softly on the table. The body is full, but not too much, just right. That is the perfect measure of a good Japanese dinner. Not excess, not scarcity. The middle way. One of the friends rests his back against the cushion behind him. He closes his eyes for a moment. He breathes. Another looks toward the windows, toward the city that keeps glowing, toward the rain that keeps falling, and smiles very softly, because there are moments that are recognized as they happen. Moments when you know this is good, you know this is enough, you know nothing more is needed. This is one of those moments. Dinner has ended, but the night has not. There is still whisky in the bottle, there are still candles to burn, there is still rain to listen to, and there are still friends here, together, in silence. Someone rises slowly, without making noise. He approaches the large windows. He stands there, with his hands behind his back, looking outside. Tokyo extends in every direction, as far as the eye can see. And beyond, it is a city without a visible horizon. Or perhaps the horizon is the city itself, a line of light that never ends. The tallest skyscrapers have their peaks wrapped in low clouds, dark and rain-heavy clouds, that move slowly over the illuminated rooftops. From up here, the flashes of the neon signs can be seen. Red, yellow, electric blue, colors that pulse, that switch off and on, that never rest. But the rain softens them, blurs them, turns them into something softer, into smudges of color on the wet glass, as if the city were being painted in watercolor, in real time, by the rain. The drops on the glass are perfect. Each one is a small world, a curved mirror that reflects the city in reverse. Inside each drop, a tiny version of Tokyo, bright, inverted, fleeting. And then the drop moves. It slides down the glass. It joins another drop. They form a small river. That disappears at the lower edge of the window. And it begins again. It always begins again. Another of the friends rises too. He stands beside the first, both looking outside, in silence. They don't need to say anything. The city speaks for them. Down below, in the streets, there are people with umbrellas. Small dots moving through the rain. Red, black, transparent. They move quickly, with that purposeful step of someone who has a destination, of someone who needs to arrive somewhere. From up here, they seem small. They seem part of a larger system, like cells in an organism. Tokyo is an organism. It breathes. It pulses. It moves, without stopping, without rest. But they are outside of that rhythm tonight, watching from afar, from the heights, from the calm. It is a strange and beautiful feeling to be part of something enormous, and at the same time to be completely outside of it. One of the friends rests his forehead very gently against the glass. The glass is cold, very cold. That cold on the forehead contrasts with the warmth of the body, with the warmth of the whisky still present, with the warmth of the room. And that difference in temperature awakens something, a small clarity, a sensation of being completely alive, completely here. The rain strikes the glass just in front of his face. The drops explode on impact and become thousands of smaller drops, almost invisible. Only their sound can be heard. Tap, tap, tap. Irregular, constant, hypnotic. Like fingers on a wooden surface, like a message in very slow code, like something that says nothing and says everything. The other friends remain seated. Some have taken their whisky glasses again. They hold them without drinking yet, just feeling the weight of the glass, the warmth of the liquid inside. One of them also looks toward the windows. From where he sits, without getting up, he sees his friends from behind, silhouettes outlined against the illuminated city, against the rain and the lights. It is a very beautiful image, the kind of image that is not photographed, that is only kept inside, Outside, a plane crosses the sky very high, its lights blinking through the clouds. Red, white, red, white. Slowly, very slowly. Someone follows it with their gaze until it disappears behind a skyscraper, until the clouds swallow it. Where is that plane going? Who is inside? What stories travel up there? It doesn't matter. It is just a thought that passes, like thoughts when one is calm. They arrive, they float, they go, without clinging, without weighing. The rain intensifies for a moment, a stronger rush of water against the glass, like a sigh from the storm. And then it returns to its previous rhythm. Constant, soft, continuous. One of those who was standing returns to his cushion. He sits slowly. He takes his glass. The other stays a moment longer, just a moment. He looks at Tokyo one last time. The lights, the rain, the movement, all of that which never stops. And then he turns around and returns to his friends, because in here is better, because in here there is warmth. The room seems smaller now, in the good sense, more intimate, more gathered. The candles have burned down another little. Their flames are now very small, but they are still there, steady. The background music continues, always just as soft, always just as discreet. And the rain always, like a backdrop that never changes, like a promise that is kept, like something that can be trusted. Tonight it rains in Tokyo, and that makes everything better. The glass, the neon, the height, the whiskey, the friends, the silence. Everything is better with rain. Breathe. Feel the weight of your body. Feel how you sink a little more. The city is out there, but you are in here. And in here, everything is exactly as it should be. The whiskey returns to the glasses, slowly, as always tonight. Someone takes the bottle with both hands. He tilts it carefully. The liquid falls in silence. 1 finger, 2 fingers, no more. The bottle returns to its place, on the lacquered wooden tray, with a very soft sound. And then someone speaks. The voice is low, very low, as if not wishing to disturb the silence, as if the silence was something fragile tonight, something that deserves care. The words arrive slowly, one after another, without urgency. It is not an important story. It is not news. It is not something that needs to be said. It is just a small observation. Something seen during the day, a detail that caught the attention, a moment that was kept. The others listen, with their heads slightly tilted, with soft eyes. They do not interrupt. They do not anticipate the ending. They just listen. That too is an art, listening without preparing the answer, listening truly, with the whole body. When the voice finishes, there is a moment of silence, brief, soft, and then someone responds, just as slowly, just as low, a single sentence, perhaps 2, and the first nods, slightly, with a very small smile. That is how conversation works tonight, like the dashi from before, simple, deep, without excess. Someone mentioned something from years ago, a shared memory, a place they all know. The faces change a little, they light up from within, eyes that narrow, lips that curve, a soft laugh that escapes, not a burst of laughter, just a small, warm laugh, like a candle that flickers. The memory floats in the air for a moment, almost visible, like incense smoke, and then it settles, it integrates, it becomes part of the night. Another of the friends speaks now. His voice is a little deeper, slower still. He says something about the rain, about how he loves the rain in Tokyo, about how the city seems different when it rains, softer, more human. The others nod. One of them looks toward the windows. The drops keep falling. The neon keeps dancing on the glass. Tokyo with rain is different. Everyone feels it tonight. The conversation moves slowly, like water finding its way, without forcing, without a fixed direction, from one subject to another, without abrupt transitions, as if the subjects were connected by invisible threads. Someone talks about an old journey, about a small city in the north, about a ryokan with tatami and a hot spring. The words paint images, mountains covered in snow, a very grey and very low sky, the steam rising from the hot water in the cold of the morning. The silence, after those words, smells of pine wood, smells of mineral water, smells of quiet winter. Someone sighs with soft nostalgia, with that nostalgia that does not hurt, that is only a beautiful memory paying a visit. The whisky helps. The whisky always helps with that kind of nostalgia. It softens it, makes it more bearable, even more beautiful. The glasses rise at the same time, without saying anything, a shared gesture, a silent toast. For the remembered journey, for the journeys yet to come, for tonight, for this moment. They drink. A sip, slow. The amber of the whisky glows in the glasses with the light of the remaining candles, which are now very small, which barely illuminate. But they illuminate enough. Tonight no more light is needed. The conversation continues. It grows slower still. The sentences are shorter. The silences between them longer. And that is fine. That is natural. It is what happens when the night advances. When the body begins to know. It begins to know that rest is approaching. That wakefulness has a limit. That there is a moment when the body says enough. Enough words. Enough thoughts. Enough being awake. But not yet. Not quite yet. Someone says something very softly, almost to himself. The others don't respond this time. They only smile. They only nod. And the silence returns. A silence different from the one at the start of the night. More laden. More full. Like a room after a good conversation. That keeps the words in the walls. That absorbs them. That remembers them. The background music has changed without anyone noticing. Now it is even slower, even more spaced. The notes arrive one by one, with a great deal of time between them, like very distant stars in a very dark sky. And the rain always present. Tap, 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 on the glass, without changing, without stopping. One of the friends rests his elbow on a cushion. He leans his head in his hand, his eyes still open, but heavier than before. He watches the candles, the small flames that tremble, that tilt for a moment, that straighten again. There is something hypnotic in a candle flame, something that cannot be helped but followed. That one does not wish to stop watching. The eyelids drop a little, rise, drop a little more. The voice of a friend arrives from afar, soft, distant, as if from another room. The words no longer have shape. They only have tone, a warm tone, a tone that says, "You are safe. You are with us. You can rest, breathe, release, let the shoulders fall." The conversation continues, very far away now, like the murmur of a river, like the sound of wind through trees. Only sound, only calm. The night has advanced, without anyone pushing it, without anyone asking. It has advanced on its own, as it always does, with that infinite patience that the night has. The candles are almost spent. The melted wax has formed small white lakes around the wicks. The flames are now minimal, barely a point of light, but they are still there, steady, as if refusing to leave before the others. The bottle of whisky is almost empty. The liquid that remains at the bottom glows faintly, like the last reflection of the day. No one empties it completely. Something always remains, as if out of respect, as if out of habit. The dinner bowls have been cleared. The low table is almost empty now. Only the glasses remain, and the small white flowers, which have lost a petal during the night. The petal is on the wood, white, still, perfect. No one picks it up. It is fine where it is. The cushions have taken the shape of the bodies that inhabit them. They have settled. They have surrendered. One of the friends is leaning back, his back on the large cushion, his arms at his sides, his eyes closed. He breathes slowly. His chest rises, falls, rises, falls. He is not yet asleep, but he is in that place that is neither sleep nor waking, that soft threshold where everything becomes light. Another of the friends has his eyes half open. He looks toward the ceiling. The ceiling is high and dark. The shadows of the candles move across it, slowly. Like very slow clouds, the shadows rise and fall. They lengthen. They shrink. It is like watching the sky from within. A dark and warm sky. A sky that does not frighten. Someone moves a hand, very slowly, to take the glass. He holds it for a moment without drinking, just feeling the weight, the cold glass, the liquid inside that moves slightly. Then he drinks, the last sip of the night. The whisky arrives warm, warmer than before, or perhaps it is the body that receives it differently now. A body that is already at rest, that has already lowered its defenses. The flavour is familiar now, known, like something that has always been there, like the smell of a place one knows well. The glass returns to the table, softly, a very small sound, almost nothing. Outside, the rain has changed its rhythm. It no longer strikes, now it caresses. It is a finer rain, softer, as if it too were tired, as if it too wished to rest. The sound is now a continuous whisper, uniform, without peaks, without pauses, like white noise that helps one sleep. Like the sound of the inside of a seashell, like something that has always existed. The lights of Tokyo are still there, on the other side of the glass, but they seem more distant now. As if the city had moved back a little, as if it had taken a step back, out of courtesy, out of respect for the advancing night. The neons keep flickering, red, blue, white, but more slowly. Or perhaps it is the eyes that see them more slowly. Perhaps it is the mind that begins to let go, that begins to release the images, the colours, the contours. Everything becomes more diffuse, softer. The edges disappear. One of the friends says something, very softly, almost without voice, just air with the shape of words. No one responds this time. There is no need. The silence is the answer. The silence that says, we are here. The bodies are heavy, with that good heaviness, with that weight that does not burden, that anchors, that gives security, like being held from below, like feeling that the ground is there, that it will not move, that it can be trusted. The music has stopped playing. At some point during the night it ceased. No one noticed. No one missed it. Because the rain is enough. The rain is always enough. Because the rain is enough. The rain is always enough. A new sound arrives from very far away, a train passing somewhere in the city. Its sound arrives muffled, soft, as if from another world. A world that keeps functioning, that keeps moving, that needs no rest. But that world is very far away now, very below, very outside. Up here there is silence, there is warmth. There is the soft sound of the friends breathing, synchronized almost without meaning to. One inhales, another releases, a third pauses, like music without melody, only rhythm, only air, only life. The eyelids are heavy, very heavy, as if someone had placed something soft on them, like petals, like silk. There is no need to resist. There is nothing to resist tonight. Dinner ended. Cool. The whisky ended. The conversation ended. Only this remains. This moment. This sweet and soft wait. This penthouse so high above Tokyo. This rain that does not stop. These candles that are about to go out. These friends who breathe together. In silence. In peace. The eyes close on their own. Without effort. Without decision. They simply close. And the night receives them. With softness. With care. As the night always does when one finally surrenders. Tokyo is still there. On the other side of the glass. Always. Its lights do not go out. Its streets do not empty. Its trains do not stop. Tokyo does not need to sleep. Tokyo does not know what silence is. But you do. You are up here. Very high. Above the noise. Above everything. And up here there is peace. A peace that is not sought. That is only found. When one stops. When one lets go. The last candles have gone out. Slowly. The flame grew smaller. And then only smoke. A thin thread of white smoke. That rose toward the ceiling. And disappeared. The room is almost dark now. Only the light of the city enters through the glass. Just enough to know that the world is still there. That it will be there tomorrow. The friends are asleep. Their breaths are slow. Deep. The rain keeps falling on Tokyo. On the rooftops. On the asphalt. On the ancient temples that have stood for centuries. On the rivers that cross the city. The rain makes no distinction. It falls on everything. With the same quiet indifference. And its sound reaches here. Up to this room in half darkness. Always the same. Always constant. That sound is yours now. Only let it in. Let it enter through the ears. Let it reach the chest. Let it settle there. Like something that was always there. You don't have to watch over anything. You don't have to hold anything. Everything will keep working. Without you. For tonight. Tokyo takes care of itself. You only have to breathe. Inhale. Slowly. Through the nose. The air is warm. It carries the last trace of the dashi, of the wood, of the extinguished wax. Release the air. More slowly still. Through the parted mouth. And feel how the body falls. Downward. Toward rest. Don't chase the thoughts. Don't push them. Just watch them pass. Like the drops on the glass that disappear on their own. One arrives. You see it. It goes. And then there is a space. A space between one thought and the next. That space is yours. It is the beginning of sleep. Tokyo glows on the other side of the glass. Its lights reflect on your closed eyelids. Red that fades. Blue that dissolves. White that becomes black. The softest black. The black that welcomes. You are not alone. You are never alone on a night like this. The city is with you. The rain is with you. The silence is with you. Only fall. Fall slowly. Downward. Inward. Toward that soft and dark place. Where there is nothing. Only you. Only rest. Only silence. Tokyo keeps glowing. The rain keeps falling. The friends keep breathing. And you are no longer here. To sleep. Good night.